This talk is about blink reflex test interpretation. Test 1. I use 7 steps to interpret blink reflex test. The first step consists of creating a platform to display results in a visually clear fashion. Step 2 is to gauge the scale used to display the waves. Step 3 is the assessment of R1 responses. Step 4 is the assessment of R2 contralateral responses. Step 5 is the assessment of R2 ipsilateral responses. Step 6 is to compare R2 ipsilateral and contralateral triggered by the same stimulus. And Step 7 is the writing of the report. Step 5 and Step 6 can be omitted if Step 3 and 4 yield unequivocal normal results. So let's get to it. This is the usual presentation of a blink reflex test waveforms. In past clinical neurophysiology board examinations, the value for each of the elements have not always been provided, but control values have always been provided. The first step when analyzing blink reflex test waveform is to create a platform that displays the results in a systematic and clear way. I find this arrangement satisfactory. Stimulation of the right trigeminal nerve in any of its branches, referred as right test, is initially reflected in the right orbicularis oculi by an early response R1. The status of this response, normal or abnormal, is indicated in this field. The status of R2 from the same muscle is indicated here. The I stands for ipsilateral to the stimulation side. The status of R2 from the orbicularis oculi on the opposite side to the side of the stimulation is indicated here. The C stands for contralateral to the stimulus side. The same arrangement is used to display the elements following stimulation of the left side. Step 2 is to determine the scale used for wave representation. As you can see, each horizontal division is 10 milliseconds and each vertical division 100 microvolts. Step 3 consists of interpreting R1 responses. I start with the left test, looking at the left R1, onset latency, and decide if normal or abnormal. I have now introduced the normal values for R1. The left R1 onset latency in this study is 9 milliseconds, which is normal. Then I look at right R1 onset latency. Right R1 onset latency is also 9 milliseconds, which is normal. Now I compare left and right R1 onset latencies, and as you can see, they are obviously within 1.2 milliseconds of each other since they are both the same, hence normal. So I go to the result platform to populate the fields. Left R1 is normal and right R1 is also normal. Bilaterally normal R1s imply normal segments of the trigeminal nerve and the facial nerve studied, as well as normal main sensory trigeminal nuclei, facial motor nuclei, and their connections. These structures are highlighted by the green background. I then take a step 4. It consists of the evaluation of R2 contralateral. I start by assessing left R2 contralateral. In this frame, I have introduced normal values for R2 contralateral from different sources. Equal or less than 42 milliseconds is from our lab's control. Equal or less than 41 milliseconds is from Kimura's book. And equal or less than 44 milliseconds is from Preston and Shapiro's book. Left R2 contralateral onset latency in this study is 28 milliseconds, less than any control. Then I assess right R2 contralateral onset latency, which is also 28 milliseconds. And then I calculate the difference between them, which is 0. This is normal because a separation of up to 7 milliseconds is acceptable. Hence, left R2C is normal, implying normal functioning of the structures on both sides of the brainstem. The segment of the left trigeminal nerve stimulated, the left tract of the spinal nucleus, the left spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve, the tracts and interneurons that communicate the left spinal trigeminal nucleus with the right facial motor nucleus, the right facial motor nucleus, and the facial nerve fibers innervating the right orbicularis oculi. Then I go to the right R2C field and indicate its normality. This implies that the same structures previously mentioned but housed on the opposite side of the brainstem are also functioning well. As you can recall, at the beginning of this talk, we said that step 5 and 6 can be omitted if step 3 and 4 are normal, as they are in this test. So we jump to step 7, which consists of writing our impression for the test. The impression should state that the test is normal, add the name of the tested structures, and stress that blink reflex test is a functional, not an anatomical test. Thank you very much for your attention.